How's it going, everybody? Cub Fan here, and today we're taking a look at the Minecraft 1.8 Snapshot, known as 14w02b. So this is the very first Minecraft 1.8 Snapshot, and there's a lot of stuff to cover, so let's go ahead and get started. And the first thing you'll notice, there are a couple new blocks in the game. So let's go ahead and get some of these here. First off, we have some diorite. We got some granite with the pinkish hue here. And then over here we got the andezite. So let's go ahead and take a look at these three blocks. Okay, so let's go ahead and run through these new rock types here. So the first we're going to take a look at is called diorite, with a nice white texture here. Now you can either mine diorite, or you can actually make it as well, using some cobblestone and some nether quartz in a pattern just like that. Gives you some diorite. And then once you have that, you can place in a 2x2 grid, and that will give you some polished diorite, which is basically a cleaner version of the original block. Then we have some granite next, and again you can mine this or make this, and you can make it by placing some diorite with some nether quartz on top. That gets you some granite. And then once you have granite, you can actually craft this up into polished granite, which looks really nice. And then finally we have some andesite. Now the andesite, let's go ahead and place that there, can be mined, or again you can craft it if you have some cobblestone and some diorite. And for each piece of cobblestone and diorite, you get 2 pieces of andesite. So there you go, 2, 2, 2, like that. And again, you can also craft this into the polished version of andesite, which looks really nice, especially for stuff like roads and things, in my opinion. So very nice, some new rock blocks. Also new this week, we have the slime block, as seen here. Looks pretty much like a slime, and it can be crafted by using 9 slime balls in the crafting table like so. Gives you a slime block, and it basically acts like a bouncy block. So we place this slime block there. We'll go all the way up to the top of this tower. And this tower is 50 meters high. And so if we go ahead and switch our game mode to survival, we should be able to jump off, hit the slime block, and then bounce safely down to the ground. Very nice. And from testing with these levers to see what my max height was after the bounce, it seems like you go about 50% as high as the original height on every consecutive bounce. So from 50 blocks, I went to about 25 blocks, then about 13, then 6, and then so on and so forth until you eventually come to a stop. But you can actually jump right before you hit the slime block, and that will cause you to stop almost instantly. So I'll show you that. There you go. That's a way you can quick stop if you jump right before you hit the slime block. And one interesting fact to note is that if you place carpet on top of slime blocks, they still behave the same way, which means that you can make some pretty realistic trampolines within vanilla Minecraft. And this will also work on any mobs that fall onto the slime block. They will bounce up and down each time until eventually coming to a slow stop. Another great change this week is to the door recipe. So the recipe itself stays the same, but now you get 3 doors instead of 1, and also doors will now stack up to 64. Alright, so there's also been some huge changes to villager trading. And before I start this section, I should note that all of your existing villagers will remain the same, because the villagers are basically saved with the world. But there's a lot of new different types of villagers. For instance, we have a fisherman now, a weaponsmith, a fletcher, everything like that. So the fletcher basically sells like string, bows and arrows, does the gravel trade as well. The weaponsmith basically sells weapons of different types, you know, axes, swords, things of that nature. The fisherman does exactly what you'd expect. He buys string, and then he cooks fish for you, sells you fishing rods and things like that. Librarian pretty much the same. Paper, bookshelves, stuff like that. The shepherd does wool trades, of course, shears, more wool trades, and also does colored wools. So you can no longer put like multicolored wool in here. This will only take white wool. So that's a pretty important trade that has changed that you should note. Also the cleric. The cleric has changed a bit. He now can buy rotten flesh. So if you have a zombie grinder, this is great news for you. You can convert your rotten flesh, which was typically useless before, into emeralds. And then there's some more new trades, like looks like he is selling lapis lazuli, which will be important in a second, which I'll show you. Toolsmith, you know, tools, shovels, pickaxes, stuff like that. Butcher, meats, mainly meats there. Farmer, wheats. He also sells pumpkins and cakes and full melon blocks now. Leather worker, again, buys leather and gives you leather armor and things like that. Saddles as well. And the armorer, pretty much self-explanatory, but gives you a lot of different armor and things of that nature. So the villagers are now much more specific than they were before. They also, when you initially walk up to them, they have 2 trades unlocked instead of 1. And also the trades unlock much easier now. So no more having to spend hours and hours grinding to get to the final trades. Basically you make 1, maybe 2 trades with the villager, and the next 1 or 2 trades will open up. So huge improvements with villager trading. Okay, and 2 other things I almost forgot here. Now anytime you do a trade with the villager, just like that, you get experience from that trade. And it also shows you the type of villager now in the user interface right here. Okay everybody, so let's go ahead and take a look at how enchanting has changed in this snapshot. So we'll open up the enchantment table, and you'll see there's now an extra slot for lapis lazuli. And the reason for that is that enchantments have become more expensive. You now not only need the experience level to get the enchantment, you also need to provide a material cost to unlock each tier. So for instance, to unlock the first tier, place in 1 lapis lazuli, and you can get this one. This sword will have smite 1 and perhaps some other enchantments on it. Second tier is unlocked with 2 lapis lazuli. This will give us knockback 1 plus maybe some more enchants. And third tier will give us knockback 2 plus perhaps some other enchants. Now say you don't want knockback or smite on your sword. Before you could just simply take out your sword and place it back in. But as you can see, the enchantments now stay the same regardless of if you drop it and put it back in or not. And you can try to switch swords, but it still stays exactly the same no matter which sword you try to enchant. And the enchantments will only change once you actually do enchant something. So let's enchant this. Pretty decent. Now if we go ahead and place this in, you'll see that all of the enchantments have changed. And yeah, it's the same way for armor. So we'll place armor in there. You'll see we got thorns, fire protection, and protection. And if we try to switch it to a diamond chestplate, thorns, fire protection, protection. So essentially what I'm trying to say here is that enchantment has now become a double-edged sword. On the one hand, you can see one of the enchantments that your item will get before you enchant it. But on the other hand, if you don't like any of these enchantments, you can't really do a whole lot to change it. However, with the changes to enchanting comes some reduction in the cost to use the anvil. So now, for instance, renaming a diamond sword will only cost 1 level. Also new this snapshot, you can repair tools for longer and with better enchantments. There are also 2 new crafting recipes this week. So first of all, you can take stone bricks and vines, put them in a crafting table to make mossy stone bricks. And you can also take stone brick slabs and make chiseled stone bricks. So these blocks are no longer that rare. Alright, also new this week, we have some changes to command blocks, and we have a new parameter, the @e parameter, which stands for entity. So for instance, we can use that by doing /kill at E type zombie. So that'll kill all entities of the type zombie. So there's a zombie there. Let's see if he goes down. Yep, there we go. So we killed a bunch of zombies right there. All the zombies in the world just perished, and just skeletons are left. But of course we can change this if we wanted to take out skeletons or witches or whatever we wanted to. Okay, everybody, and you can also have a lot of fun with this entity parameter. So for instance, this command block will teleport all entities of type creeper to me, and then it will teleport them 20 blocks above me. But since it happens so fast, it's just like they just basically go ahead and spawn up there 20 blocks above me wherever I'm at. So let me just go ahead and demonstrate that here. I'll go ahead and set my game mode to survival. Yeah, that's going to be really useful for map makers like Vex and others. So you can now spawn specific entities relative to a player. And the reason I'm making such a big deal out of this add entity command is that it means that combined with the summon command, you can now spawn specific number of mobs in specific locations relative to the player with specific items at specific times. So incredible amounts of customization are now possible for custom map makers. Also new this week, if an item doesn't fully finish smelting, the smelting process will stall halfway through until more fuel is added, in which case it will resume. Also new this week, while in adventure mode, you can no longer place or destroy any blocks. Also new this week, in the debug screen under the F value, after the cardinal direction, it now shows the axis you're facing. So for instance, in this case, I'm facing towards positive Z. Another small change this week is that you can lock your world to a specific difficulty just by clicking on this button here, and this cannot be undone. So once you do it, make sure you want to keep it on that difficulty because you cannot change it after that. So guys, I think that's going to be all for me today. There was also some other stuff on MBT tags. You can now specify exactly what type of blocks players can and can't break in adventure mode, and also a lot of stuff behind the scenes for the upcoming mod API. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this snapshot video. There will be a new Let's Play coming out soon for those of you interested. I've been away for a while, took a small break for the holidays, but I am back now, so expect that within the next few days. Thank you for watching, everybody. This has been CubFan. Goodbye.